Hello, greetings, my newcomer. My name's Jake Allen Graham. Welcome to my YouTube channel, where I will be reviewing the third installment to the Hollands franchise, tying into Spider-Man Brand New Day and building up to it. And tying into it. The upcoming Spider-Man movie this year called Brand New Day. This is the third installment for the Spider-Man franchise with Holland's run. I give this a 5 out of 10. It's as well competently directed, as consistent, as bad as Superman, directed by James Gunn. Well directed style. As in, we can't make anything out what's going on because there's some constantly thrown. It was all the action, creative action it gets with the movie. You can't really make out what's going on with the action because there's so many quick cuts and close-up angles to make out what the fuck's going on in the fighting. I hated the directing in this movie, and the editing was rushed. The CGI is unpolished as fuck, rubbery looking. Especially the CGI in Spider-Man's costume, good god. And not to mention the Iron Spider costume. The thing that replaces it looks like, is everything, or Doc's arms, it is mechanical arms, looks like CGI effect, like somehow more faker than it looked in 2004. Doc was the CGI. Arms, you know? How come the CGI arms look worse than they did in the 2004 movie? And yeah, I got the same guy playing Doc Ock, but they couldn't get the same amount of talent for the visual effects team for this movie. But hey, they could bring the veteran actors that played the villains in Spider-Man for the same price they won this time, making it the most cluttered Spider-Man movie since, well, Amazing Spider-Man 2, to be honest with you. Or Spider-Man 3. Except those movies didn't completely give up on telling structure. What's the story? This movie gives up on structure. On storytelling. Base level. It just throws you right in the movie and ends abruptly with so many questions unanswered that may or may not get answered or glanced over in the fourth installment, Brand New Day, coming out this year. Scheduled to release unless it gets delayed, like other movies. So who knows? This is really happening this year, or getting delayed till next year. Anything could happen. That's why I give Spider-Man No Way Home a 5 out of 10. This movie was a mistake to get greenlit and released to the public, I say. This was a crime against cinema. Poison. It is. This piece of shit of a movie. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the first two ones with Tom Holland's. Starting with Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm reviewing now, after reviewing Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm reviewing Spider-Man Far From Home. That's the one with Jake Gyllenhaal plays Mysterio. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home both get a 7 out of 10, whereas No Way Home gets a 5 out of 10. I mean, I will say these movies, the first two Spider-Man Holland runs, is at least better than Infinity War Endgame. You know, in terms of not overstaying his welcome with his runtime and padding. Given everything concerning the story feels half-baked and idiotic, with a lame villain, both for all of them. The ones that went from Andrew or Maguire's universe, all the ones from Tomlin's universe that originated from Tomlin's universe, they just suck as villains, I come to realize. They just are lame, uninteresting villains. Meant for Spider-Man to punch and defeat and overcome. Because he's a geek, I guess. So he's overcoming something because he's obviously a geek. What makes him a geek? Is he funny like Andrews or socially awkward like Maguire's and can't talk to girls? No. None of the above. He's just some handsome, cute kid that just happens to be a geek because he's Spider-Man. Since when has he not been written as a geek? Except in this trilogy. In this one, he's a ladies' man, a player. He just lusts on to the next girl he sees. After he screws up with one girl, he goes on to the MJ, played by Zendaya in the trilogy. Instead of just staying committed to the Spider-Man role, he still wants to try to have it both. And so what are we going to learn from this Holland Spider-Man take? Is that he's a slow learner. Baby steps he needs to take to become a true selfless hero like in the comics that we loved. That, you know, how Andrew and Maguire just randomly threw you in the story to show you that he's that kind of character in the comics. Well, don't worry. We don't have to see any of that comic book accuracy Spider-Man charm that matures, that shows his maturity as a character in complex layers from the source material. We don't get to, don't worry, we don't have to see any of that rubbish of the source material character. He doesn't have the short-term temper of Spider-Man from the 616 or the Ultimate Comics run of Spider-Man. He's not short-tempered like Andrew nailed, or Maguire nailed, showed that he was little short-tempered and can be an irrational, impulsive at times. The other hero. He hasn't, he's not perfect, the character. But, you know how, this Spider-Man doesn't have any anger issues for some reason, or trauma, or experiences loss, but only wins, oddly, as Peter Parker and as Spider-Man. And he's a popular kid in this universe trilogy until he gets erased himself from everyone's minds in the third one. How is that going to tie into Spider-Man 4? We'll see this year if it comes out, unless it gets delayed. Because it's a stupid idea to continue this franchise with Holland's run, considering you actually suck the life and color and layers out of this character. To the point he's as complex as SpongeBob SquarePants. Actually, that's an insult to SpongeBob. SpongeBob has at least more emotions than this smile. But Tom Holland's run, he's just so fucking happy. And he's not even funny. Like, he doesn't try to be funny already or a jerk to the villains. Or call them names and get under the skin. He doesn't do that ever, except maybe a few times in the first two ones, Homecoming and Far From Home. But then, you know, in the third one, they just make him an idiot because the whole voodoo cosmic villains coming to his timeline, Earth, is because he made the wish way too much of a long of a wish list for Doctor Strange to make tweaks for his wish. That was supposed to be one specific thing. But he didn't thought through, and he didn't complain to the people at the higher ups about his case, and saying you can't just like not include my friends just because you're friends with me. Please don't do that. Don't punish them because he didn't think of this. But the kid's supposed to have common sense and be. How old is he at this point in this movie? Oh yeah, right. He's 8 or 17. He's a late teenager at this point, about to graduate, and so around the age to graduate high school and go to college in this movie. So he cannot make one smart or confident things happen. He didn't think of the wish through. But somehow, this fucking idiot is able to trap Doctor Strange with mask in the mirror dimension after he breaks it. With the plot of the movie going, it's like this is why. It's like, why can't this be consistent writing on how they want, or competent or incompetent they want Spider-Man to be in this run? This was the same McGuire problem had with his run. They couldn't make up their fucking minds that they wanted Spider-Man to be a competent hero or a weak, puny idiot hero. Or a smart hero like in the comics with some intelligence. And things on his toes and easily to think under stress levels. Neither ones, McGuire and Holland, have this in common. They are so desperate into trying to get everyone ass into seats to see these versions of Spider-Man. They don't care how it little makes sense. They don't care that they're wiping the layers off the character and fun off the character to the point he's as bland as a fuckable toaster oven. These movies make me feel like I'm being raped by a toaster oven. McGuire and Tom Holland's are that bad. That's my review on Spider-Man Homecoming trilogy was Tom Holland's run. And why I think Holland and Tobey Maguire are the worst people that have ever played Spider-Man, taking the Peter Parker mantle on screen. Since the 70s live action show that we made in America back in the 70s was the first live action Peter Parker portrayal before Maguire's era. But you know what? As bad as these movies are, Maguire and Holland's run, I hate 70s live-action Spider-Man show that we made in America a lot more from the 70s show that lasted 1 to 2 seasons of a short-lived run, but thank God it was a short-lived run show. I'm not sure which is worse, that show or these movies with Maguire and Holland's. It's quite a toss-up for me. Split mixed divide feelings I have towards these masterpiece of garbage movie franchise in the show. Spider-Man, titled The Amazing Spider-Man Show, from this live-action 70s show. I'm going to save that in another review for another channel. Under one of my other channels, so I'm going to talk about that one. And save that for a different video. So that's my review on Holland's Spider-Man Trilogy. Goodbye. Subscribe. Like this video.